Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to take a demo class for class 12 Flamingo Text English textbook. And today, I'll be dealing with chapter 1, the last lesson written by Alphonse Daudet. So, in this lesson, we are going to learn about war and what was the after effect of war, how it influenced a small boy, as well as the village people there, and what are the after effects of war, how language changes when a war is happening. For example, in the story, a French war, a war between France and Prussia is taking place. Prussia is now, uh, Prussia now consists of, like, now a country called Prussia does not exist. So before, earlier, its name was Prussia. So France was having a war with Prussia. So now, presently, Prussia consists of parts of Austria, Germany, and Poland. And France, so France and Prussia was started to get into a war. And France was defeated in the war, and Prussia overtook the power. So mostly, when power is overtaken by anybody, they will overpower the entire kingdom, as well as they will impose their language on the people living in that area, and they will be like that. No, so similarly, what all influences it had on French people and how it affected them, so, what are the after effects as well as the socio political scenario existed during that time will be given more importance through this lesson which I'm going to take. So, before getting into the chapter, let me ask you about some of the authors. I know there are no one with me right now, so I'll be like asking rhetorical questions and I'll be replying to myself so that you will get a proper understanding, like how I am going to take the class for you. So when it comes to regular offline mode, I want all of the students to switch on your video, and you have to mute your audio. Whenever I'm saying, you have to switch on your audio and reply. Okay. Why I'm saying that you should open your video, because I want you to, like, I want to see you all. I want to know what is happening in the other side. Then only I'll be able to correct you, or I'll be able to like, give proper attention to you, right? So that's why I want you all to switch on your camera while you are with me in the regular class. Okay. So now in today's class for demo, I have taken 6 paragraphs of the first lesson, the last lesson. Okay. How ironical it is. The first lesson is the last lesson. Okay. So let us get into the lesson. And the last lesson is written by Alphonse Daudet. So what is the peculiarity of the author? Whenever we are reading a text, or whenever we are studying a text, we always give importance to the author, right? We always study the author, then only we'll move on to the text. So similarly, today we are going to look about the author. What all things we have to know about him? Do you know, have you ever thought of uh, have you ever thought of studying why I have to study about the author? I have to just read the textbook. Then what is the importance of me studying someone who has not uh, who I don't have any connection with? Have you ever thought of? Yes, there comes the importance of literature. When it's a kind of literature, it, like, language doesn't matter. Even if it's English or Malayalam or any other regional language, any literature, when it comes to that matter, we always give prime importance to authors, because most of the authors who have written the text might have written this work under certain influences. Sometimes some people may find it difficult to survive. So, in order to in order to get some money, or in order to earn some money for their livelihood, they might have started writing in. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, unfortunately, they might have ended up in their literary career, and progressed in life. Yeah, sometimes it could have happened. And in other cases, the financial difficulties which they have faced, that might have led them to write more or to earn money that is there. Then sometimes in other case, what all might have influenced them. In some cases, yes. So I'm just thinking that other side you are there. In my other side, other end you are hearing me, you are listening me. So with that hope, I'm just teaching you all. So I just want you to pay that attention to me. And I know there are a lot of people who listen to my recording, even if it's a recorded, even if it's recorded just all alone. Okay. Okay. So in like whenever we are reading about an author, we'll get the socio-political circumstances which existed during the time of the author, and anyways the socio-political circumstances might have influenced the author to write. For example, when it comes to Alphonse Daudet, we can see the Franco-Prussian War has influenced him a lot in order to write this story. So let us get into the author, Alphonse Daudet. I will read some points of Alphonse Daudet to you all. So you have to just think along with me. Whenever you are thinking, your ideas, your creativity will evolve. So you will start to think just like me. So let us read or let us go through Alphonse Daudet. So, in this module, you are going to learn about Alphonse Daudet, about the last lesson, and then about what interaction. Then we'll interact with each other. That's what I'm planning. I don't know how it will happen. Anyways, let us get into Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet was born in the year 1840 and he passed away in the year 1897. He was born on May 13, 1840 in Nimes, France. So he born in France and he's known for his sentimental tales of provincial life in the south of France. So in the south of France he lived, and most of the times he's he will have an influence of the provincial life in the south of the France. And mostly we can see an element of sentimentality in his works or sentimental tales are the ones which are written by Alphonse Daudet. Early life was marked by financial difficulties, and that also has influenced his writing, which I have told earlier. No, some writers are like that. So he started writing poetry while he was in France. Then he later moved to Paris. Then he began writing novels and plays. Then, in that way, he succeeded in his literary career. So, his literary contributions it have left a lasting impact on his French literature. And main themes or major themes of Alphonse Daudet are provincial life and southern France, human behavior and psychology, irony and realism, compassion and sentimentality, conflict and passion, the Franco German War. Then he died on December 16, 1897 in Paris. Okay, that's all about Alphonse Daudet. Now, let us move on to the lesson, the last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. Can you see in the left side there's an image, like you can see the image of a person who is he, or can you guess who he might be? Yes, he is none other than Alphonse Daudet. Yes, you have read, we have like think about him a lot, what all things he underwent and what all influenced him for writing this great works like this and other poetry and plays and all. So this is a person, Alphonse Daudet. And in the right side, you can see the image of a person who is taking class. And now you won't be understanding the significance of this AI generated image. But later, when you proceed with the lesson, you'll be understanding what significance this image has. Okay, let us move on to the lesson. The last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. Just before I have told you what is the scenario of the story, how the Franco-Prussian War happened and who led that Franco-Prussian War, Bismarck, and between which all countries it took place, between France and current Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. That is current nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. But then Prussia. So France and Prussia. Between France and Prussia, there existed a war when during 1870 to 1871, and that was termed as Franco-Prussian War. And after the war, what all influences it had on the people of France. For example, this story is told in a first-person narrative where a boy named Little Franz, he is narrating his experience of the after effects of Franco-Prussian War, how he dealt with life and how life changed for him. So that's what we are going to see through this. Not only him, the entire village people, they suffered and they were so feeling so dull. They were so, it was a kind of shocking experience for the village people because they haven't learned to read and write French. So even when that's their mother tongue, they were not able to do so. And now, after Franco-Prussian War, France was defeated by German, and German people to they want to impose German language on the people of French. And now, what is going to happen? French is not at all given importance, and from tomorrow onwards, their French teacher, Monsieur Hamel, is going to another country because he don't have a post here as a French teacher. From tomorrow onwards, German is to be taught for the people of French. So that was that is a condition and that's a situation and that is a setting and what all things are surrounded with that. So that is what this story tells to us. And let us get into the lesson. The last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. I'll just read, okay? Alphonse Daudet, 1840 to 1897, was a French novelist and short story writer. The last lesson is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War from 1870 to 1871, in which France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In the story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. Read the story to find out what effect this had on life at school. Okay, let me read the story. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding, especially because Monsieur Hamel, just M. Hamel, it's written. So it is actually a shortened letter. Monsieur is a term used to show the respect to a person. For example, you will be saying Mr. some name. Okay, you'll be saying Mr. or Mrs. Uh, along with some name, no, in order to show the respect. So similarly, in France, French people mostly use this term monsieur in front of their name to show respect to a person in a respected position. For example, Monsieur Hamel is a French teacher. So in order to show the respect to a teacher, here it's the term monsieur is used, and now here the letter M, it's a shortened form of monsieur, that is capital M is used to show the respect. M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participles. So what is the task? So the boy is very afraid to go to school and he know that today his sir or his teacher is going to ask questions on participles, and this boy, he don't know anything about participles, so most probably he'll be afraid of the scolding which is given by the teacher. Yes, and I did not know the first word about them. He don't know anything related to participles. For a moment I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. Yeah, for a moment we all might think, if we don't know anything, we will be thinking, right? No, instead of going to school, I'll go somewhere else and play. So that's how this boy also thought. And what made him think so, do you know? Yes. Why? Because it was so warm. The day was so warm. It was so bright. And other than that, the birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers, they were drilling. So it was all much more tempting than the rule for participles. So rather than studying the rules for participles, it is so vibrant enough to see all these things which he can see in the surroundings. So it's better to see this and stay here. But he had the courage. He's a good boy, so he had the courage to resist himself and hurried off to school. And what did he do instead of staying there and enjoying those vibrant or things which he seen there? He just hurried off to school. So when I passed this town hall, when little Franz, this boy's name is Little Franz. That is who like mentioned as I know. So the I character mentioned is in the story is Little Franz. So when little Franz passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Usually in town hall there is a bulletin board kept. And for the last 2 years it's kept there mostly or every time a kind of bad news and a kind of other about lost battles, about the draft or the orders of the commanding officers will be put in this bulletin board. So he knows that something negative might be there in the bulletin board. Today, a lot of people are crowded over there. I don't know what is the matter. Then he's thinking, what can be the matter now? Yes, then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin called after me. Don't go so fast, Bub. You will get to your school in plenty of time. So then, as he was going so fast to his school, a blacksmith who was sitting there. What was the name of the blacksmith? Watcher. Wacchter. So a blacksmith watcher along with his apprentice. Apprentice means a helper who is doing the same work in a low wage just for a practice. So he, uh, along with an apprentice, reading the bulletin, he just told me in the sense, told little Franz, don't go so fast, bub. Bub means it's a kind of rude way of saying boy. Don't go so fast, boy. You will get to your school in plenty of time. You have a lot of time. That's what he's saying. I thought he was making fun of me because anyway, it's so late, and now this blacksmith, is saying to me that I have plenty of time. What a kind of ironical statement he's saying. So that's what he's thinking about himself. But he just left that and he reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. And he reached Monsieur Hamel's little garden after running so fast all out of breath means he's just standing after reaching the garden of Monsieur Hamel because so far he was running and just now he came. That kind of sigh he is leaving out. So usually when school began, there was a great bustle. No, you can see great bustle whenever a school began, right? During morning time, just before the bell, when teachers or just when teachers enter the class, during morning time you can hear a bustle. Bustle means a kind of noise, a kind of disturbance which you can be heard in the street, which could be heard in the street just outside the school, or you can hear the noise of the opening and closing of the desk in classroom. Then in some classes lessons will be repeated in unison, means all together students will be repeating some lesson or some rhyme to the teacher because she might be asking them to do so. So such kind of loud noises will be heard very loud with our hands over our ears to understand better. They might be screaming aloud, and the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. That can be another sound which is produced in schools during the time during morning. Okay, but today it's all different. But now it was all so still. So today it didn't happen. Today I couldn't see any of those signs. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. So I was thinking about all these noises. So these noises will protect me. This noise will protect me to enter the class without anyone's noticing me. But today, the situation was entirely different. What happened today? But of course, that day in the sense, that day when he was trying to enter the class, everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. So just as Sunday morning, there was pin drop silence. Through the window, I saw my classmates. So through the window, this little Franz, he could see his classmates already in their places, and Monsieur Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door. So there is no other way because everyone are in their places, already in their places, and no one is making any loud noise. Pin drop silence. So there is no other way rather than to open the door and go in before everybody. So the boy did like that. You can imagine how blushed and how frightened I was. You can imagine. You could have imagined, like if you might have underwent the situation, how you would have felt, right? So this boy, oh my God, in front of all, so like coming so late to the class, and he even don't know any word about participles, and he's so worried and he don't know what to do. So he was blushed in the sense he was so scared and he was so frightened, like what will be Monsieur Hamel's reaction to him. But nothing happened. But it shocked him. Nothing happened. Monsieur Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." So that was his reply. So, anyways, we completed the first three paragraphs. So, let me go on to discuss the word meanings, difficult words which you might have come across while reading these three paragraphs. I'll be describing I'll be giving the meaning of all those words. In great dread of. In great dread of. Before giving you the meanings, let me tell you, when it comes to the meaning in English, as the context differ, meanings also can differ. So in like for all these words, I will be giving you the word meanings which suits this story's context. Okay, these words might have some other meanings in other contexts. So that's the kind of caution which I would like to give you before the class starts. So first word is in great dread of. So the boy is in great dread of, for what? To attend a class or to go to school, because he's afraid that he don't know about participles. So in great dread of means to be very afraid of something that is about to happen. Another word is drilling. Drilling has a lot of different meanings, but here a kind of the situation is related to military. So military drilling is uh, what is mentioned in the story, and what does that drilling mean. So that drilling military like related to the context of military, drilling means the training and practice of specific movements and procedures, often involving marching, weapons handling, and formations, to instill discipline, precision, and the ability to execute commands effectively. Then comes apprentice. Apprentice is a person who works for low pay in order to learn the skills needed in a particular job. Like when it comes to the blacksmith watcher, he was having an apprentice beside him while he was speaking with the boy. Right. So that is where the term apprentice is used in the story. Then bub is a kind of Bub means an aggressive or rude way of addressing a boy or man. So who addressed little Francis Bub? Blacksmith watcher. Okay. Then out of breath meaning unable to breathe comfortably because of tiredness or excitement. So after reaching the school, the child is out of breath, or little Francis is out of breath because he was running so fast. And now he came to the garden of Monsieur Hamel, and now he is out of breath. Means he's unable to breathe comfortably because of tiredness, not because of excitement, but because of tiredness. Okay, next word is in unison. So during the initial hours or during morning time, what you can see, students might be repeating lessons in unison. In unison, the word meaning is acting or speaking together or at the same time. Then another word is rapping. Rapping means to hit a hard object or surface several times quickly and lightly, making a noise. So when students are not attentive or when they are making loud noise, teachers what do they do? They would use a scale or a scale or a stick to rap on the bench or desk so that a loud noise is made and students will attend, will give proper attention to the teacher. So that is the meaning of rapping. Then commotion. What is the meaning of commotion? A state of confused and noisy disturbance. Okay. So now based on the three paragraphs, certain comprehension questions I've made. I know there is no one to answer here. So I'll be just asking questions to you and I will be replying or I'll be responding with the answers myself. Okay. So what was the name of Lil Francis' French teacher? Yes, you might have observed. It is Monsieur Hamel. Yes, his name is Monsieur Hamel. Why did France thought of running away and spending the day out of doors? And that I will show you because it's a long answer. Instead of going to the school in order to learn the participles or in order to attend class on participles, he's afraid that today his teacher would be asking questions on participles. Rather than going to class, he wished to remain or he wished to stay back outdoors. Why he thought in that way? Because the day was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods. And in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers they were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles. That is the reason. Okay. So what is the next question? Why the boy was afraid to go to school? Because Monsieur Hamel would ask questions on participles and he don't know any word of them. Okay, he don't know any word on participles. That's why he's afraid to go to school. Then, what all things usually appear in the bulletin board kept in the town hall? Usually, bad news. You can see about lost battles, about drafts, then command like messages or from the commanding officers. Okay, all those things are visible in the bulletin board kept outside the town, kept in the town hall. This was kept like over 2 years, like 2 years. It is being kept for 2 years in the town hall. Okay. Then what was the name of the blacksmith mentioned in the story? You know, it's his name is Watcher. Wachter. Watcher. What was the usual sight he sees in the school? How is it different today? What is the usual sight he sees in school? You know, yes. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street, the opening and closing of desks, then lessons repeated in unison, very loud with our hands over our ears to understand better. And the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. So, how the day was different, that is being mentioned here. Through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places and M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible lion ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. Okay, that was the answer for that question. Next question is, how did Franz enter the class? Yes, how did he enter the class? How did he enter the class? He had to open the door and he had to go in before everybody. And that's how he entered the class. Okay. So the questions are over. Now let us move on to the next paragraph. Okay, I'll read the next paragraphs. So, but nothing happened. M. Hamel saw me and he said very kindly, go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap all embroidered that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. So Monsieur Hamel's costume or attire is being described here. So, can you explain his costume or attire, or describe Monsieur Hamel. Yes, he wore a beautiful green coat on that day. Yes, green coat, then his frilled shirt and little black silk cap, all embroidered. So I showed you a picture just before starting the lesson. Do you remember that? I'll show you the image. Yes, see the AI generated image. So this is the image which I created based on the instructions which I have given the AI. So the Professor M. Hamill is wearing a green coat, a frilled shirt, and he's wearing a small black cap which is embroidered. Okay, so now you will be remembering the attire for so long. Okay, and in which all days he used to wear that attire? He never wore those attire except on inspection and prize days. So only for inspection and prize days he used to wear that attire, and he didn't he didn't wear that attire so far. Okay, on any other days except those 2 days. So besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. So, so far I haven't seen the uh, back bench occupied. Now, no, like all the village people are there in the back bench and it's not empty. It's kind of giving me a shock. That's what little France is saying. Now, just like all other students, just like us, the village people are sitting in the back benches. So why they might be like, who all are sitting? So little Franz is noticing. Who all are sitting in the back bench? Yes, old Hauser, and like, his description is given. What attire he wore. So with his three-cornered hat, his hat is having three corners. Okay, with his three-cornered hat. Then who is the next person sitting next to him? Former mayor. Then another, like the next person is the former postmaster. And not only these three people, there are several others who are sitting besides. So how they are sitting? They are sitting very quietly. Everybody looked sad. They are sitting very quietly. At the same time, they are looking very sad, or they look very sad. And Hauser, he had brought an old primer. So Hauser, he didn't come to school in like barehandedly. He was having he brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. While I was wondering about it all, so the boy was wondering about all these things and why they are sitting, or why all these village people have come to the class, and why they are sitting quietly, why their face appears so sad, why they are looking so sad, and all these things his little boy is wondering all about. M. Hamel, Monsieur Hamel, he mounted his chair and in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me, said, so just like he used to tell me in that tone, in that gentle and grave tone, he told or he said, my children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. So why Alsace and Lorraine? Alsace and Lorraine are the places of which comes under France. So now France is being defeated by Prussia. So now the German people, they will be controlling these two places, Alsace and Lorraine. And in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, only which language only should be taught? German should only be taught and French should not be taught from the next day. So this is my last class, my dear students. That's what Monsieur Hamel is saying or addressing to them. So the new master comes tomorrow. For what? For teaching you all German. So this is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive. So far, it's okay. You haven't given paid attention to me nor my classes. Some of you might not have attended French lessons, and you may not be able to read or write. It's okay. But for this class, Today's class, you all should be very attentive. That's what Monsieur Hamel is giving them an address. What a thunderclap these words were to me. So it was so shocking for little Franz. Why it was shocking for little Franz? Oh, the wretches, oh my God. He's thinking that was what they had put up at the town hall. Oh my God, that was why where like that was why all those people were crowded over there in the town hall. So in the bulletin board, this might be the news. So I didn't pay attention to. So this was the news. Now I can relate with it. My last French lesson. Why? I hardly knew how to write. So I don't know how to write French. This boy is saying to himself, I should never learn anymore. Now I shouldn't learn anymore. I must stop there. I need to stop here. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons. Now he's thinking, oh, now he's repenting that I had a lot of time. I wasted a lot of opportunities. Now it's time. I must stop there. Now I'm not going to learn anymore. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking. So instead of giving more attention to my lessons, to my French lessons, what all things I did. I went for seeking birds' eggs, going sliding on the Sar. Sar here mentioned is a river. Okay, so I went go or I go like going sliding on the Sar. Then my books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago. A while ago, my books were a new kind of nuisance for me because I don't want to read or I don't want to learn. So heavy to carry. My grammar and my history of saints were old friends. Now that I couldn't give up. Now, when I'm realizing that it's not going to be with me forever. Now, uh, this is my last lesson, and now I'm not going to get my lessons anymore from tomorrow onwards. Now I'm getting attached to it. Now I find it so difficult to leave it all on a sudden. That's what the boy is thinking. And M. Hamel too. He is also filled with emotion. And Monsieur Hamel, the idea that he was going away. So even if he was acting rudely to this little Franz, when he's about to go, this little boy, little Franz, is having a sort of sentimental connection with him. Anyway, this person was teaching him for a long time. So he like all in a sudden it's very difficult for him to digest that this person is going to another place all on a sudden and leaving all of them. So, leaving the place as such. So, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. He was such a mad person and he used to beat everyone and he used to like rap on the table. All those things are there, but for a moment, he forgot all those things. He's just sad that he's going to leave his teacher, Monsieur Hamel. Poor man, he's thinking about Monsieur Hamel. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. So, this is the reason why he put this green coat, then with frilled shirt and that small black cap, embroidered cap. All these things he wore just for this fine, just for this special occasion, as this was his last lesson. Okay, had put on his fine Sunday clothes, that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and the boy is understanding, or now he understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. Now he understood why these village people were sitting in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry. Just like him, they also were feeling sorry for not learning French letters or alphabets or anything when it was their time. They didn't learn, so now they are repenting for not learning their own mother tongue, and from tomorrow onwards they are going to learn a new language, not even their mother tongue but some other language they are going to impose upon them. Okay, now they're worried and they feel repentant, so that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service. So Monsieur Hamel was working for the past 40 years in this school. And this is the kind of respect which is shown by the village people to him, that he is going to leave from service And that's why they came and sat in the back benches of this classroom and showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. And this is the last line of the sixth paragraph. And here ends the portions of today. So, before leaving, I'll be discussing the difficult words which I came across in the last three paragraphs with its meanings. Solemn means very serious, not happy or smiling. Monsieur Hamel's face appears to be solemn. Here, it means it's very serious, neither happy nor he's smiling, but it's very serious. That's the meaning, solemn. Primer means old hoser. He carried an old primer with him. That's what the story tells. So what is that old primer? It's a small introductory book or text designed to teach basic knowledge or skills, often for beginners. Okay. Mounted his chair, meaning taking a dramatic or authoritative stance. Okay. Which means this person, Monsieur Hamel, mounted his chair means he took a dramatic or authoritative stance and he's addressing the village people as well as his own students that this is the last lesson which is going to take, and from tomorrow onwards another teacher will come for them. And that's what is happening. So that is the expression mounted his chair meaning. Then thunderclap means a shocking surprise. So that was a shocking surprise or thunderclap for little Franz that from tomorrow onwards he and the other people in France are going to learn another language, and they are going to uh, like like they haven't given paid much attention to their French lessons, and now they are going to leave it. That was a kind of thunderclap for them, a kind of shocking surprise for them. Now, another expression, oh the wretches. Oh the wretches, the boy is saying, oh the wretches. It's a kind of expression which means to express pity for someone in a miserable situation. Like little Franz is feeling pity for himself. Like he is in such a miserable condition that, or in a miserable situation that he is not aware of all the French alphabets, or he is not aware, or he doesn't know how to read or write French. And at the same time, the village people also don't know. And now he's thinking about Monsieur Hamel's condition also. And now that might have been written in the bulletin board then. So that is a kind of pity expression which he felt for himself, at the same time for Monsieur Hamel, because he is being teaching in the school for past 40 years, and now he has to leave it or the school all on a sudden. Okay, not only the school but the country as such. Okay, so an expression of disapproval or anger can also be shown through that expression, or often used to it is also often used to express frustration for someone's actions or character. Then the comprehension questions from the last six paragraphs are: how did Monsieur Hamel react when little Franz entered late to the class? What did he say? What did he say? Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you. That was what he was saying. So it is not a kind of rude statement or some aggressive statement. Nothing. It is kind of gentle tone he was having, right? Then coming to the description. Describe the costume or attire of M. Hamel. You know it. What is it? Beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap, all embroidered, which he used to wear only for inspection and prize days. Okay. Then, what is the next question? What surprised little Franz when he saw the back benches of the class? In the back benches, village people were sitting. That was what surprised him. Usually, that black like usually the back benches of the class appears to be empty, and now village people, they are sitting quietly just like the students. So that's why he's feeling surprised. Who all was sitting in the back bench? What was their emotion? Yes. Who all was sitting in the back bench? Can you identify? Old Hosser with his three-cornered hat, Then the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others were sitting besides. And how did they look? What was the emotion in their faces? Everybody looked sad. Okay. Then, then what did old Hauser bring to the class? What did he bring to the class? Old Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. Okay. Then from where did the order that only German should be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine came? Berlin, you know it. Berlin, I know, you know it. Berlin. What words of Monsieur Hamel acted as a thunderclap to little Franz? What words acted as a kind of thunderclap to little Franz? Yes, thunderclap. Can you see it? Yes. My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive. And that was a thunderclap for little Franz. Okay. What did little Franz feel at that moment when he realized that he hardly knew how to write his mother tongue? What did he feel? He hardly knew how to write his mother tongue. What did he feel? He felt repented, no? He hardly know how to write. I should never learn. A kind of like feeling aroused in his mind, no? What did little Franz feel at that moment when he realized that he hardly knew how to write his mother tongue? He felt really sad. All those expression, a kind of mixed emotion came to little Franz. He thought of like he repented a lot. He should have learned French before instead of learning what all things he did. All those things he used to rewind. So what all things it's mentioned. So okay. What was little Franz's approach to Monsieur Hamel when he heard the news? He felt really sad for him and he started to feel a kind of respect for him. He forgot all the sad memories. His he forgot all about his ruler and how cranky he was. He left everything. So, what was the kind of feeling when he? Yes, I forgot to. Yeah, what did Lil Franz feel at that moment when he realized that he hardly knew how to write his mother tongue? The answer is given here. My last French lesson. Why? I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn anymore. I must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs or going sliding on the shore. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And Monsieur Hamel, too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. It's a kind of mixed answer for all the two questions. Why? What did little Franz feel at that moment when he realized that he hardly knew how to write his mother tongue? And it's a reply, the response or the answer for this question also. What was little Franz's approach to Monsieur Hamel when he heard the news? He forgot about the ruler and how cranky he was because now he is going to leave the place and now he is feeling sorry for him at the same time a kind of attachment for him. Okay, how long Monsieur Hamel was working as French teacher in the school? For 40 years he was doing faithful service to the school, and that's why in order to show the respect towards him all the village people came to his class during his last hour. Okay, so hope you got a proper understanding regarding the all the six paragraphs of this unit of this chapter. So let me introduce to my course. My course is English online learning class. So for classes 11 and 12, so I'm going to take classes for 11 and 12. My the main highlights of my courses are the interaction will be purely in English. It will be a kind of comprehensible English, just like now what all things I'm teaching. No, like like similar to that, I'll be speaking in a very kind of simple and comprehensible language, English, so that the students will be hearing it again and again, and they'll be trying to converse with me in the same kind of simple English, and unknowingly they'll start developing that confidence to speak with that great passion in English itself, so that they'll be learning language so fast. And this can help them in their future also, like for attaining jobs and for working as in a team or anywhere. This language proficiency always helps them. So this course also provides that also. Then it will be activity oriented. Most of the students will be uh, having a hesitancy, like they'll be hesitant to reply when it comes to online classes. I want all my students to switch on their video at the same time. They need to switch off their audio whenever I'm saying to speak to them. They need to switch on their audio and speak. At the same time, I'll be assigning different activities. As I'm not having any student right now, uh, i I don't know how to show this, because if I'm having a student, I'll be able to show it. Now I'm not like I don't have anyone to show like how I'll be taking the classes. For example, today I gave you a lot of difficult words along with its meaning now. So I'll be giving assignments for students, or I'll be, if there are many students in my class, I'll be I'll be just classifying, or I'll be dividing them into different breakout like groups, and giving them separate breakout rooms. Then based on different words, I'll be assigning different words for each breakout rooms, and they need to think about it, and I'll be giving them 5 to 10 minutes time to discuss. And then after discussion, they need to come back. In between, I'll be simultaneously going in all the breakout rooms, and I'll be supporting them. So it is a kind of activity which I'm planning to do. I have just shared an instance with you. Similarly, I'll be arranging different kind of activities for them. And then monthly tests and revision. I'll make sure that all the lessons taught in a month will be properly revised, and proper tests will be given in order to check their like improvement, or what all things they have learned so far. Not only a kind of writing skills they need to have, they need to develop their speaking skills, listening skills. So I'll be assigning different. Apart from this class, I'll be providing them audio classes as well, because I'll be like, even if I'm reading for a single time, they may not be getting the proper pronunciation of different words. So if I'm providing an audio file, or if I'm providing a video file along with the textbook, like if I'm reading a text or if I'm reading a chapter, then I'll be giving the images of the textbook and my audio, how I'm reading the text. So it will be giving them a kind of patience to listen to my voice, at the same time to look into the textbook, so that they'll be getting so they'll learn words very fastly, and that can prevent them from making spelling mistakes. Another thing is they learn to pronounce words more correctly. One more thing is they'll develop a kind of listening skill, okay, apart from reading and writing and speaking. Then speaking skills they can improve while I'm giving them opportunities to speak in class. In class itself, for example, if I've taken a class, in the next class, if they're coming, I'll be asking questions related to the topic which I have taken in the last class. At the same time, I'll be giving them instances to speak about. For example, I'll be asking them to speak about linguistic chauvinism. So in the text, there is a term called linguistic chauvinism. So I'll be asking them their opinions. I'll be dividing them into groups, and I'll be giving them a kind of time period, and in that time period they have to prepare and speak to me about linguistic chauvinism. I know students, they may not be able to speak that much. If there are students, I'll be feeling so happy and I'll be more happy. But if there are students who don't know about such terms, let them start speaking from the very scratch. I won't make any of my students feel disappointed. Let them start from the beginning, and I'll just motivate them to speak more, and that's how we evolve, because no one is so perfect. We'll be developing our skill sets only when we start practicing. So in that way, as a whole team, I'll try to make my students improve in their language skills. Another thing is, I'll be providing a stress-free environment. I won't be creating a kind of strict atmosphere for my students. It's not like I'll be so lenient. I'll be strict at the same time. I'll be giving them a comfort zone for them to work, because creativity won't work if the atmosphere is so strict. So if I'm providing a kind of liberal atmosphere for them to open up their mind, if I'm having a strict kind of feeling, or if I'm providing them with a kind of strictness, they may not be opening up. Creativity works where strictness fails, I think. So that's my theory, which according to me. So I'll be a little liberal. At the same time, I'll be strict. And I know a lot of students in their class 11 and class 12 CBSE, they face a lot of struggles while learning all other subjects. So English should be their kind of freedom, I guess. So here they should be so relaxed. I'll be giving them that atmosphere. At the same time, they need to think creatively. New ideas should be created here, and that's how I think they can evolve through literature. So next is beyond class level syllabus. It benefits children's creativity, yes, language and social skills. So while working as a team in breakout rooms and like having interactions with me, it uh, it will develop a kind of social skills in them, even if they are reserved or someone, like, it's okay. We'll slowly make them practice that, and they'll come up in their life, okay, which further helps their career in future as such. Then it gives equal importance to listening, speaking, reading, and writing. LSRW is very important when it comes to English language. So we'll give importance for listening. For listening, we'll be providing them with another material. For just like I have said, I'll like every day I'll be giving them some tools or some kind of audiovisual aids, materials for them to listen. So in that way, I'll be giving them listening exercises, and speaking in the class itself, I'll be providing exercises. Then for reading and writing also, I'll be creating such kind of opportunities for them to read and for to write and to discuss. So in that way, we'll be creating a lot of ideas. Then use of interactive learning tools. I'll be using AI, I'll be using other social media platforms. Social media platforms in the sense, I don't know how I'll be implementing it, but as the students come, according to their needs, I'll cater to their needs. If they don't want all those things, it's okay. If they want, I'll be including whiteboard, I'll be including other kind of LMS system in it. So it's it's according to their wish. I'm not saying that I'll start my class in Zoom or I'll start my class in Google Classroom. I'll just inquire about my students' wish, and based on that, their opinion, I'll be taking a final decision on which software I'm going to use. So that's what all is all about. And classes for CBSE class 11, classes will start on April 2nd. I know it's too early. Even if it's too late, it's okay. Till June, I'll be taking students, no issues. I'll be providing you with classes from the very beginning. It's not an issue for me. So for class 12 also, I'll be providing classes from April 4th. For 12 also, till June, I'll be taking admissions. Okay. So classes commence for class 11 on April 2nd and for class 12 on April 4th. And class timing is from Wednesday, for class 11, I'll be taking classes on Wednesday and Saturday from 9 to 10 p.m. And for class 12, for classes 12 from Monday, and for classes 12, I'll be taking class on Monday and Friday from 9 to 10 p.m. And when it comes to fee structure, it is rupees 500 per month from both class 11 and class 12. Any students like fee structure is 500 per month, rupees 500 per month. Okay, so hope everything is clear. And thank you for patiently listening to me. Thank you. So, bye. Thank you.